Welcome back to the Sleep Cure. We're going to be taking a deep dive today and looking at a problem that affects a lot of people, especially as we get older,
Yeah.
and that is sleep problems. It's something that I think we all struggle with from time to time, but
Yep.
did you know that over 70% of people over the age of 60 have trouble sleeping?
It's a staggering statistic, isn't it?
It is. And a lot of times, we don't really think too much about it. We kind of accept it as part of getting older. But
Right.
the thing is that poor sleep actually has some pretty serious consequences for our health.
Absolutely. It's not just about feeling tired the next day. We're talking about a significantly increased risk of developing chronic diseases.
Yeah. Like what kind of diseases are we talking about?
Well, studies have shown a strong correlation between chronic sleep deprivation and conditions like type 2 diabetes,
Oh, wow.
hypertension, which is high blood pressure, and even a heightened risk of developing Alzheimer's disease.
Really? Alzheimer's.
Yes. The research is quite compelling on that front. It seems that a lack of quality sleep can actually accelerate cognitive decline.
I mean, I knew it was important to get enough sleep, but I had no idea that it was that serious.
It really is. Sleep is not a luxury. It's a fundamental pillar of our health and well-being, impacting everything from our physical health to our mental sharpness and emotional resilience.
It sounds like quality sleep is even more important than I realized. It's not just about feeling good. It's about protecting our health in the long run.
Precisely.
So I know a lot of people, especially as they get older, try to find solutions in medications.
Yes, it's a common approach. But sadly, sleeping pills often only mask the underlying issues. They don't address the root causes of sleep disturbances.
So if medication isn't the answer, what is? That's what we're going to be diving into today. We're going to explore some actionable strategies that can help you improve your sleep starting tonight.
And the good news is that these strategies are accessible to everyone. They're lifestyle modifications, behavioral techniques, and even some surprising dietary tips.
So without further ado, let's get started with our deep dive. First, I think it's essential to understand why sleep becomes even more critical after the age of 60. Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Absolutely. As we age, a lot of things change in our bodies. Our hormone production naturally declines, including vital hormones like melatonin and growth hormone.
I've heard of melatonin. That's the sleep hormone, right?
That's right. It's crucial for regulating our sleep-wake cycles. And growth hormone is essential for cell regeneration, muscle mass, and bone density. We need quality sleep to produce these hormones effectively.
Makes sense. So if we're not sleeping well, we're not producing enough of these vital hormones, and that can impact our overall health and accelerate the aging process.
Exactly. And there's another crucial aspect, the immune system.
The immune system, okay. How is sleep connected to that?
When we consistently get poor sleep, our immune system weakens. It becomes less effective at fighting off infections.
Oh,
We become more susceptible to colds, flu, and other illnesses.
so not only does poor sleep affect our hormone production and aging, but it also makes us more vulnerable to getting sick.
It's all interconnected. And this is especially important as we get older because our immune systems naturally become less robust with age.
Okay, so it seems like this misconception that as we age, we just need less sleep is actually completely false.
Absolutely. It's a dangerous myth. While our sleep patterns may shift slightly as we get older, the fundamental need for sufficient, restful sleep remains constant.
And in fact, poor sleep can be a warning sign that something else is going on.
Exactly. It's often a symptom of an underlying issue.
And there's a study from the University of California, I believe, that looked at sleep and its impact on cognitive function in older adults.
Yes, that's a very important study. It found that older adults who consistently slept less than 6 hours per night had double the risk of developing dementia.
Double the risk of dementia. That's a huge red flag.
It's a stark reminder that prioritizing sleep is not just about feeling refreshed, it's about protecting our brain health as we age.
Okay, so we've established that quality sleep is absolutely essential for our health and well-being, especially after 60. Now, let's get into some specific strategies for improving our sleep. The first area we're going to explore is a factor that significantly impacts sleep, but it's often overlooked.
This is what's often referred to as the silent error of sleep.
Silent error. What's that?
It's something that many older adults do without even realizing how much it's affecting their sleep.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
It's exposure to screens and bright lights in the hours before bedtime.
Oh, screens. Yeah, I can see that. We're all glued to our phones and TVs.
Exactly. And it's especially problematic for older adults who might be using these devices to relax before sleep.
Right, like watching TV in bed or reading on a tablet.
Precisely. But here's the thing. These devices emit blue light, and blue light actually suppresses the production of melatonin, the sleep hormone we talked about earlier.
Oh, I see. So even if we're feeling tired and ready for bed, if we're exposed to blue light from screens, our brains are getting mixed signals.
Exactly. The blue light essentially tricks the brain into thinking it's still daytime.
And that makes it harder to fall asleep and stay asleep.
Precisely.
So what's the solution? Do we have to completely give up our screens in the evening?
Well, it's not about giving them up entirely, but about being mindful of our usage. The key is to disconnect from all screens at least 1 hour before bedtime.
1 hour. Can we really manage that?
I believe so. Think of it as an investment in your health. Instead of scrolling through social media or watching TV, try engaging in activities that promote relaxation and prepare your body for sleep.
Like what kind of activities?
Reading a physical book,
Okay.
taking a warm bath, listening to calming music, or even practicing some gentle stretching or breathing exercises.
Hello.
These are all great alternatives.
And what about the lighting in our bedrooms?
That's also crucial. Try switching to warmer, dimmer lighting in the evening hours.
Okay.
Use lamps with soft yellow bulbs instead of bright white LEDs.
Got it. Warmer and dimmer. It's like creating a cozy, sleep-inducing atmosphere.
Exactly.
Okay, so avoiding screens and bright lights before bed. That's a great first step. Now, let's move on to our first immediate tip for improving sleep. This one is called the morning light technique.
This technique is all about resetting our body's natural clock, which is also known as our circadian rhythm.
Circadian rhythm, that's like our internal sleep-wake cycle, right?
Precisely.
And how does morning light help with that?
Well, our circadian rhythm is heavily influenced by light.
Okay.
Exposure to bright light in the morning, especially natural sunlight, sends a strong signal to our brain that it's time to wake up and be alert.
Interesting. So it's like setting the alarm clock for our internal sleep-wake cycle.
Precisely. And the more consistent we are with this morning light exposure, the more synchronized our circadian rhythm becomes, leading to better sleep at night.
Makes sense. So how much morning light do we need, and what's the best way to get it?
Ideally, we should aim for at least 30 to 60 minutes of natural light exposure shortly after waking up. This could involve going for a walk outdoors, sitting on your porch or balcony, or even just opening your curtains wide and letting the sunlight stream into your home.
What if it's a cloudy day? Do we still get the same benefit?
Yes. Even on cloudy days, natural light is far more potent than artificial indoor lighting.
Okay, so even if we don't see the sun, just being outside is beneficial.
Absolutely.
And you mentioned that this morning light exposure helps regulate the hormones that govern our sleep-wake cycle.
Exactly. It helps ensure that our bodies produce melatonin at the right time in the evening.
So getting enough morning light can actually help us fall asleep more easily at night.
Precisely. It's a simple yet powerful way to reset our internal clock and improve our sleep.
I love how simple and natural this technique is. No pills, no special equipment, just good old-fashioned sunlight.
Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective.
All right, let's move on to our second immediate tip for better sleep. This one is about incorporating a specific food into our diet that can promote deep sleep. And this one might surprise you. It's bananas.
Ah, the humble banana. It's often overlooked as a sleep aid, but it's actually quite effective.
Really? I usually think of bananas as an energy booster, not a sleep inducer.
I understand. They are a good source of energy, but they also possess properties that can help us relax and fall asleep more easily.
Okay, how does that work?
Yeah.
What makes bananas so good for sleep?
Well, for one, they are rich in magnesium,
Magnesium.
which is a mineral that's known to help relax muscles and calm the nervous system.
Oh, right, magnesium. I've heard that it's good for sleep.
Exactly, and bananas are a good natural source of it.
Okay, so magnesium is one factor. Is there anything else?
Yes, they're also a good source of potassium, which can also help with muscle relaxation.
Okay, so we've got magnesium and potassium. Is that it?
There's one more key ingredient in bananas that makes them sleep-promoting, and that's tryptophan.
Tryptophan. Okay, what's that?
It's an amino acid that's a precursor to serotonin, which is a neurotransmitter that helps regulate mood and sleep.
Oh, right. Serotonin. I've heard of that. It's like the feel-good hormone.
Exactly. And serotonin is converted into melatonin, which is the hormone that helps us fall asleep. So by consuming tryptophan, we're indirectly boosting our melatonin levels.
I see. So bananas contain magnesium, potassium, and tryptophan, all of which contribute to relaxation and better sleep. That's amazing.
It is, isn't it? And it's a completely natural way to improve our sleep.
So when is the best time to eat a banana for optimal sleep benefits?
The ideal time is about 30 to 60 minutes before bed.
Okay.
You can eat it on its own, or you can pair it with a teaspoon of natural peanut butter or a small glass of warm milk.
Peanut butter or milk. Why those?
They can actually enhance the absorption of tryptophan.
Oh, interesting. So it's like a little sleep-inducing snack.
Precisely.
Now, I know some people might be concerned about the sugar in bananas, especially if they're watching their blood sugar levels.
That's a valid concern.
Yeah.
However, a small amount of carbohydrates in the evening can actually help tryptophan enter the brain more effectively. Oh, interesting. So a little bit of sugar before bed can actually be beneficial in this case.
Yes. But of course, if you have any concerns about blood sugar, it's always best to talk to your doctor.
Always a good idea. But for most people, a banana before bed can be a simple and effective way to promote better sleep.
Absolutely.
All right, let's move on to our third and final immediate tip for better sleep. This one is a breathing technique that can help you relax and fall asleep more quickly.
This is a technique that's been used for centuries.
Okay.
It's called the 4-7-8 breathing technique.
4-7-8 breathing. What's that all about?
It's a very simple yet powerful method for calming the nervous system and slowing down the heart rate.
Okay.
Essentially, it involves inhaling for a count of 4, holding your breath for a count of 7, and exhaling for a count of 8.
4-7-8. Okay, I think I can remember that.
Okay.
And how does this help us fall asleep?
Well, when we focus on our breath in this way, we shift our attention away from our thoughts and worries.
Right.
And the slow, rhythmic breathing pattern actually activates the parasympathetic nervous system. The parasympathetic nervous system, what does that do?
It's the part of our nervous system that's responsible for rest and relaxation.
Oh, I see. So it's like flipping the switch from fight or flight to rest and digest.
Exactly. And when the parasympathetic nervous system is activated, our heart rate slows down, our muscles relax, and our minds become calmer.
Okay, so this 4-7-8 breathing technique helps us shift into that relaxed state that's conducive to sleep.
Precisely. And it's something you can do right in bed without any special equipment or medications.
Okay, so let's walk through the steps one more time. How do we do this 4-7-8 breathing technique?
First, find a comfortable position in bed. You can lie on your back or your side, whatever feels best.
Okay.
Then, place the tip of your tongue on the roof of your mouth, just behind your front teeth.
Okay.
Keep it there throughout the exercise.
Got it. Tongue on the roof of the mouth.
Now, exhale completely through your mouth, making a whooshing sound.
Whooshing sound. Okay.
Then close your mouth and inhale deeply through your nose to a mental count of 4.
Inhale for 4.
Hold your breath for a count of 7.
Hold for 7.
And then exhale completely through your mouth to a count of 8, making that whooshing sound again.
Exhale for 8. Whoosh. Got it. And how many times do we repeat this cycle?
Repeat the cycle for a total of 4 times.
Okay, 4 cycles of 4-7-8 breathing. It seems pretty easy.
It is. And even if you don't fall asleep immediately, you'll likely find that your body and mind are much more relaxed.
Yeah.
And that will make it easier to drift off to sleep eventually.
Okay, so we've got 3 great tips for improving sleep. Avoiding screens and bright lights before bed, eating a banana before bed, and practicing the 4-7-8 breathing technique. Now, let's talk about what we do in the couple of hours before bedtime.
This is another crucial window for setting ourselves up for a good night's sleep.
What kind of things should we be doing and what should we avoid?
Well, one of the biggest mistakes people make is eating a heavy meal too close to bedtime.
Yeah, I've definitely been guilty of that.
It can lead to indigestion, heartburn, and make it much harder to fall asleep.
So what's a good rule of thumb for dinner time?
Ideally, try to have dinner at least 2 to 3 hours before bed.
Okay.
And make sure it's a lighter meal, not something too heavy or greasy.
Okay.
Things like vegetable soup, a salad with grilled chicken, or a small portion of fish are good options.
Okay.
You want to avoid things like fried foods, fatty meats, and sugary desserts.
Right. No late night ice cream runs.
Exactly.
And what about drinks? Is there anything we should be avoiding in the evening?
Yes, definitely limit your caffeine intake.
Okay.
So that means no coffee, tea, or soda after dinner.
Got it. No caffeine after dinner.
Yeah.
And what about alcohol? Some people think a nightcap helps them sleep, but is that true?
Unfortunately, no. While alcohol may initially make you feel drowsy, it actually disrupts sleep later in the night.
Oh, I didn't realize that. So no nightcaps either.
That's right. And try to avoid drinking too much water or other fluids right before bed so you don't have to get up to use the bathroom in the middle of the night.
Yeah, that's always a sleep disruptor.
It is.
Okay, so no heavy meals, no caffeine, no alcohol, and limit fluids before bed. What about activities? Are there any activities we should avoid in the evening?
Yes, try to steer clear of activities that are mentally stimulating or emotionally upsetting.
Okay.
So that means no working late, no watching intense TV shows or movies, and no scrolling through social media.
Social media is a tough one to avoid, I have to admit.
I know it's very tempting. But those endless feeds and notifications can keep your mind racing and make it harder to relax.
Yeah, I've definitely experienced that. So what should we be doing instead?
Focus on activities that are calming and relaxing,
Okay.
like taking a warm bath, reading a book, listening to soothing music, or spending time with loved ones.
Okay.
And if you're feeling stressed, try some relaxation techniques like meditation or deep breathing.
So it's all about creating a peaceful and relaxing environment in the hours leading up to sleep.
Exactly.
It's about signaling to our bodies and minds that it's time to wind down and prepare for rest. Okay, now let's talk about the power of creating a consistent nighttime ritual.
This is such an important part of good sleep hygiene.
What exactly do you mean by a nighttime ritual?
It's a sequence of relaxing activities that you do every night before bed.
Okay.
It's about creating a predictable routine that helps your body and mind transition into sleep mode.
So it's like a set of cues that tell our brains, okay, it's time to start winding down.
Exactly.
What kind of activities can be part of a nighttime ritual?
Well, it can vary from person to person, but some common elements include dimming the lights, taking a warm bath, reading a book, listening to calming music, or practicing relaxation techniques like meditation or deep breathing.
Okay.
The key is to choose activities that you find relaxing and enjoyable.
And to do them in the same order every night.
Yes, consistency is important.
Okay, so let's say I want to create a nighttime ritual for myself. What would you suggest?
Here's a sample ritual that you can adapt to your own preferences. About an hour before bed, start dimming the lights in your home. This will signal to your brain that it's time to start winding down.
Okay, dim the lights.
Then, prepare a cup of herbal tea like chamomile or lavender. These teas have calming properties and can help promote relaxation.
Okay, nice cup of tea.
While you're sipping your tea, do something relaxing like reading a book, listening to music, or taking a warm bath.
Okay, sounds relaxing already.
About 30 minutes before bed, turn off all screens.
No more screens.
This includes your TV, computer, phone, and tablet.
Got it.
Blue light from these devices can interfere with melatonin production and make it harder to fall asleep.
Okay.
Now, it's time to get ready for bed. Brush your teeth, wash your face, and put on your pajamas.
Okay.
Once you're in bed, do some gentle stretching or relaxation exercises.
Okay.
This will help release any tension in your muscles.
Okay.
You could also try some deep breathing exercises like the 4-7-8 technique we talked about earlier.
Right, the 4-7-8 breathing.
And finally, before you close your eyes, take a few moments to reflect on the day and practice gratitude.
Gratitude. All right.
Think about 3 things you're grateful for.
Okay.
This will help you shift your focus to positive thoughts and let go of any worries or stress.
Okay, so dim the lights, have a cup of tea, read a book, take a bath, no screens, get ready for bed, do some stretching or deep breathing, and practice gratitude. Sounds like a pretty solid nighttime routine.
It is. And the best part is that you can customize it to fit your own preferences and lifestyle.
Right. It's about finding what works for you and sticking with it.
Consistency is key.
Okay, now let's shift gears a bit and talk about when sleep problems might be a sign of something more serious.
This is an important topic because sometimes sleep disturbances can be a symptom of an underlying medical condition.
Right.
And it's important to be aware of those signs so we can address them appropriately.
Okay, so when should we be concerned? What are some red flags that might indicate a more serious problem?
One red flag is insomnia that persists for more than a few weeks despite making lifestyle changes and trying relaxation techniques.
Okay.
If you're consistently having trouble falling asleep or staying asleep, it's important to talk to your doctor.
Okay.
Another red flag is frequent nighttime awakenings,
Okay.
especially if you're waking up feeling short of breath or like you're choking.
Oh, that sounds scary.
This could be a sign of sleep apnea, which is a serious condition that causes you to stop breathing for brief periods during sleep.
Sleep apnea. Okay. I've heard of that.
It's important to get that checked out by a doctor as soon as possible.
Okay. Are there any other red flags we should be aware of?
Yes. Excessive daytime sleepiness is another one.
Okay.
If you're feeling exhausted and sleepy during the day, even after getting a full night's sleep, it could be a sign of an underlying medical condition.
Like what?
It could be a hormonal imbalance, a thyroid problem, or even a neurological disorder. So again, it's important to consult with your doctor if you're experiencing this.
Okay, so Persistent insomnia, frequent nighttime awakenings, and excessive daytime sleepiness are all red flags that warrant a visit to the doctor.
Exactly. It's always better to err on the side of caution when it comes to our health.
I agree. It's important to remember that sleep is a vital sign, just like our heart rate and blood pressure.
It's a window into our overall health and well-being.
And if something is off with our sleep, it could be a sign that something else is off as well.
Precisely. It's our body's way of telling us that something needs attention.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of ground today. We've talked about the importance of sleep, especially after 60. We've explored some common sleep disruptors and debunked some myths about aging and sleep. And we've shared 3 immediate tips for improving your sleep: avoiding screens and bright lights before bed, eating a banana before bed, and practicing the 4-7-8 breathing technique.
We've also discussed the importance of creating a consistent nighttime ritual and recognizing the red flags that might indicate a more serious sleep problem.
Right. So
Yeah.
what's the main takeaway? What do you want our listeners to remember from this deep dive?
The main takeaway is that good sleep is essential for our health and well-being at any age.
Right.
And while sleep patterns may change as we get older, we don't have to accept poor sleep as an inevitable part of aging.
Right.
There are things we can do to improve our sleep, and even small changes can make a big difference.
So what's your call to action for our listeners?
My call to action is to start implementing some of the strategies we discussed today.
Okay.
Choose 1 or 2 tips that resonate with you and try them out for a week.
Okay.
See how they impact your sleep.
Right. And if you're struggling with a more serious sleep problem, don't hesitate to talk to your doctor.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you for joining us for this deep dive. We hope you found it informative and helpful, and we wish you all a good night's sleep.
Sleep well.
If you enjoyed today's deep dive, be sure to like and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any future episodes.